Alright, Hero fans, let's take a look at the final episode of the day, which is All for Nothing. The episode starts with Oliver meeting Lance, Dinah, at the episode starts with Oliver meeting with Lance, Dinah, and the recently selected Captain Hill. Slope briefs the gathering that Kate and James is checking all traffic, entering and leaving the city. We see an Argus operator surface in Lake holding on, requesting orders from Oliver. At the point when Oliver orders him to go get James, the Argus operators in the water are shocked. Back in his office, Oliver wires $70 million to James. We see news reports saying that Caden James has had a stranglehold on the city for 8 days as supplies are beginning to get low. Vincent approaches Dinah, inquiring as to whether she confides in him or not. She kisses him. In a flashback, we see Captain Sink presenting Vincent and Dinah on their first day at the Central City Police Department. Vincent is seen meeting with Ricardo Diaz, the Brodva, and Caden James at one of James' dens. There, Caden uncovers that he doesn't care for shocks and insights that he realizes that Vincent is a backstabber. Oliver and Felicity are talking at Arrow HQ. She advises him that once Caden James is taken care of, she's anticipating going on their wedding trip. An alarm goes off. Felicity's tracker is going off. Oliver and Diggle merge in the area of the tracker and discover Vincent. As Oliver is preparing to shoot him, Chris and Renee run out and advise Oliver and Diggle that Vincent is covert with Kate and James. The two splinters of Team Arrow meet with Vincent about Caden's arrangements. He uncovers that if Oliver enters Caden's alcove, he'll explode the thermobaric warhead, leveling a large portion of Star City. In the wake of hearing increasingly about Caden's arrangement, Listening established that Vincent should go further covert to put a new gadget on a server that will permit Team Arrow to impair Caden's weaponry. At Lance's office, he reveals to Thea that he's got an Earth 2 Laurel tailing him as of later. However, at every point he goes to pivot and face her, she vanishes. Dinah pulls Vincent aside and inquires as to whether Oliver is the one that put him up to do the mission, and Vincent says he's doing it voluntarily. We see another flashback where Vincent and Dinah are as yet covert. Curtis, Renee, and Dinah come back to the First Arrow HQ. They've accumulated to keep tabs on Vincent's development. He's ready to get to the server room, and once he begins moving documents, Kaden strolls in and gets him. Kaden approaches him, and through the Team Arrow comm frameworks, Jose gives him a couple of lines to state about IT so he doesn't ruin his disguise. He's waiting for Kaden long enough for the document. He's waiting for Kaden long enough for the document move to finish. Vincent can get outside of James's compound and transmits the records he wrote to the server back to Felicity and Team Arrow. Kaden follows Vincent outside where he calls the last double cross and shocks him with an immobilizer. At Arrow HQ, Diana's getting stressed that she hasn't got a notification from Vince in some time. She chooses to go to Helix, and Renee chooses to go with. Kaden is scrutinizing Vincent, who discovers Vincent is a metahuman with regenerative capacities. Kaden and Dragon disregard Vincent, but then totally to get tormented. Thea's helping Lance watch out for Laurel. He deceives her and can draw her to a spot with numerous photos of the Earth 1 Laurel. She gets in and obliterates the screens indicating the photos. Lucy tracks the area of the bomb where the Alex find Vincent being tormented. Dan heads out to spare him, and Curtis and Renee join her. The trio emerges on Vincent's area and make brisk work of the protectors. Oliver and Diggle go to the distribution center where the bomb is found and find that the stockroom is vacant. And rather, Caden and his group have tied a bunch of regular citizens with explosives set to explode shortly. Dinah discovers Vincent, and they are before long shaken by a blast. They recapture consciousness, and Dinah is caught under rubble. Vincent goes to help her when he's overwhelmed by a black siren. He spears on rebar standing outside of the divider. Dark Siren approaches Vincent and uses powers point blank, executing him. Curtis and a surgeon and salvage Dinah. Dinah's back at Helix HQ grieving the loss of Vincent. Kirsten educated her that Oliver and Diggle couldn't find the bomb. Upsetting Dinah considerably more, she might suspect Vincent passed on to no end. Oliver and Diggle come back to Area HQ and discover Vincent has been slaughtered. Felicity at that point gives them that they revealed the homicide of Keaton James's child on tape. Arrow's back in his office, glancing through scrapbooks when Thea strolls in and discloses to him they may been off base about the Earth 2 Laurel turning great. She goes to Silence that she's the one that slaughtered Vincent. Oliver hints for Dinah to converse with her about the occasions prior that night. Oliver takes a stab at quieting her down, and she vows on murdering each and every one of Kata's kin, beginning with Laurel. Ooh, boy, that's not good. So, let's take a look at some trivia from this episode. The title of this episode comes from Diggle's said, and later Dinah about Vince's murder. Felicity says the phrase frack, a popular expletive from the Battlestar Galactica franchise. So I think this episode is pretty emotional, and I'm not sure how I feel about Dinah trying to go after Laurel, because that might be a good thing. So, yeah. So for all I give, all for nothing, 3 arrowheads out of 5. But until tomorrow, as we take the next episode, The Devil's Greatest Trick. So until then, in the words of Oliver Queen, you have failed this city.